Hello, welcome. You are listening to Dr. Sushma Singh. Today in Unit 22, Religion and Culture, we are going to continue our topic Sociological Explanation, the three approaches to the understanding of the sacred and the secular order. And our subtopic is Max Weber. The German scholar and the sociologist par excellence has provided an in-depth insight into the nature, functions and consequences of religion as a social institution. Max Weber's interest in religion was inspired to some degree by the arguments of Karl Marx. Like Marx, Weber also devoted much of his intellectual life to investigating the history of capitalism, but his concentration was more on social categories rather than the economic categories, although he excreted Marx with highlighting the role of economic arrangements in the history. But whereas Marx believed that all history could be explained in terms of struggle between the oppressed and the oppressor classes, Weber viewed economy as only one of many influences on the course of human history. In certain respects, Weber's sociology of religion has been a pathfinder. Contrary to the Marxian notion that the religion is an obstacle to social change and progress, Weber argued that religion itself can become a powerful agent of social transformation. Weber's classical work, The Protestant Ethics and the Spirit of the Capitalism, has been described as a dialogue with the ghost of Karl Marx. This model sociological classic still remains as a thesis in the comprehensive understanding of religion, a powerful social institution meeting not only supernatural needs but also performing pecuniary function of society, that is, being closely related with the economic aspect of society. Weber began this work by observing that in countries with both Protestant and the Catholic population, the business leaders, the bankers, even the highly skilled workers were overwhelmingly Protestant. Weber tried to find out the sociological reason for this unusual phenomena. He asked questions regarding specificities such as what is there about Protestant belief and practice that foster economic enterprise in comparison to other communities. Weber found an answer in the Calvinist phase of the Protestant Reformation. His explanation focused on two elements of Protestant belief: the redemptive value of work and worldly asceticism. Weber found that the doctrine of predestination was central to Calvinist thinking. The Catholic Church taught that the route to salvation led through the church, that one earned a place in heaven through participation in the sacraments, mass, confession, penance, and so on. The Calvinists believed that God decided whether an individual would be elected to ascend or damned to hell much before the person was born, and that nothing he or she did on earth could alter that predetermination of God's will. This has helped Protestants to act freely and unchained individual from the bonds of the church. But this belief also created intense anxiety in people's mind. How could a person know whether he or she was one of God's chosen few to be elected or to the heaven? The Calvinist answer was simple. This is clearly indicated in one's own lifetime through his or her worldly achievements. Good works might not earn one salvation as Catholics believed, but they did not ease the fear of damnation. As the Bible states, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings." The Calvinist conviction in the redemptive value of hard work was combined with what Weber called worldly asceticism. Calvinists condemned self-indulgence, the pursuit of luxury and lavishness, and the pleasure of the flesh. But they also rejected the belief that one could earn salvation by giving away one's possessions and living in poverty, something that they associated with Catholic monks. What then was the successful entrepreneur to do with his wealth? Calvinism's answer here again was straightforward. Engage in saving and put those profits to work. Calvin did not wish to impose mortification on the man of wealth, but the use of his means for necessary and practical things, wrote Weber. And so the Protestant ethics, with its peculiar combination of hard work and self-denial, was born. For centuries, the Catholic Church has condemned the pursuit of profit, especially through money lending and trade. Calvinism elevated saving, investing, rational calculation, and profit making to a moral duty. Indirectly, then, Calvinism gave capitalism moral sanction and created a pool of dedicated entrepreneurs. In this way, our religious ethos have given rise to a type of new economic system and a new way of looking at life. Religion, economy, and culture, three major social institutions, have come together, mutually influencing each other in the process of creating a new way of living and thinking. Weber did not maintain that these beliefs alone could explain why capitalism emerged in Protestant Europe rather than, saying, China or India. Rather, he saw Protestant belief as one of many factors that contributed to the rise of capitalism. Although he disagreed with Marx's economic determinism, he did not set out to disapprove the role of economics in history. He stated, "It is not my aim to substitute for one-sided materialistic and equally one-sided spiritualistic casual interpretation of culture and history. Rather, his aim was to show that history could not be reduced to one-factor explanation and that religion could be an agent of social and cultural change." In the conclusion to his book, The Protestant Ethics, Weber described the spirit of capitalism and the near worship of rational instrumentalism in modern times as an iron case, in which the technical and economic conditions of machine production determine the lives of all individuals. He continued, in the field of capitalism, highest development in the United States, the pursuit of wealth, stripped of its religious and ethical meaning, tends to become associated with purely mundane passions which often actually give it the character of sport. The religious spirit that had inspired the growth of the capitalism has fled the case, leaving behind the specialist without spirit, sensualist without heart. For Weber, a society in which human activities and the relationships are governed by rational calculation and economic compulsions is devoid of meaning. In this sense, a moral order, a system of ethos which transcends the sheer pleasure principle of wealth and comforts, is something Weber aspired for the modern society. In so doing, Weber endeavored to combine an elevated arrangement of culture with moral principles, linking religion and culture at a higher level of synthesis. Here we want to close this lecture. Thanks for listening.